You're watching ABC4 News with Rosie Nguyen and Alana Brophy.
Welcome back. First responders across Utah are mourning the loss of one of their own. The news broke late Monday night that Doug Robison, the man who championed peer support programs in northern Utah, passed away. ABC4's Jason Nguyen shows us how he helped save the lives of others.
Firefighters need help too, and there's nothing wrong with that.
This is my interview with Doug Robison in September of 2019. We caught up with him at a Firefighter Behavioral Summit in Syracuse City before we launched our Weight of the Call series. First responders from all over the state attended the one-of-a-kind event to learn better ways to deal with mental health.
I know that if it wouldn't have been for other firefighters being there, for people to talk to, that I don't know if I would have made it through my career.
Robinson died on Monday night after starting his career in 1978. He's worked for the Davis County Sheriff's Office, Kaysville and Layton Fire Departments, along with the Unified Fire Authority. He told me he personally saved more than 28 people from taking their lives while serving as a peer support specialist in Syracuse. Little did he know he saved many more by championing the Davis County Peer Support Task Force.
You can only take the responsibility of the community on yourself for so long before you need some help.
Many considered Robinson a bright light that dimmed too quickly. Price City Fire Chief Jordon Petersen tells me he was smart about our future. He was an advocate for peer support. He was about service. Brian Edwards adds, I ran my first cardiac arrest with him. He helped me more on that call than anyone else during my career. Ben Shera says, what a great mentor, man, example. Gonna miss him. On Facebook, Syracuse City Fire Chief Aaron Byington tells us, Doug was a good friend to us all and positively affected so many lives throughout his career, a debt that can only be repaid by continuing his legacy of love and compassion for fellow brother and sister firefighters.
That was ABC4 News' Jason Nguyen reporting. The state critical incident stress management team and peer support teams across the state are available for any first responders impacted by Robison's passing. Robison's family asked for privacy during this difficult time.
What peer support brings in is addressing those thoughts, those emotions, and being able to normalize it so that what you're thinking, what you're experiencing or going through is normal.
That was Administrative Sergeant Scott Adams of the Draper City Police Department back in November 2019, talking about peer support programs for first responders. Welcome to tonight's In Focus discussion on the weight of the call. Utah's first responders suffered a hard loss this week after losing one of their own, Doug Robison. Robison championed peer support programs in northern Utah, and tonight we want to honor his accomplishments and help continue the work that he's done. Joining us tonight live in studio is Battalion Chief Jordon Petersen of the Murray Fire Department. Jordon, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for helping us raise awareness.
Of course. You've helped set up peer support programs for many departments in the Valley. Tell us what the peer support programs are and how effective have they been?
Great question. The peer support programs have been an incredible program to help us deal with what we deal with in the regular calls of duty. What a peer support program, we adopted it from the military as a program where we found that oftentimes counselors and mental health professionals tend to struggle to understand what we go through, whether that's the day-to-day life of being a firefighter, first responder, or whether that's the incidents and the actual things that we take away from incidents. And we found that a lot of people were hesitant to go and speak with counselors, but one thing they weren't hesitant to do was reach out to maybe somebody they knew. So we found that when you train individuals in not full mental health response, but when you actually go out and you kind of teach them how to respond to individuals who come forward, when you create avenues for care, they're more likely to reach out to those individuals who they know, those individuals who understand exactly what they're going through. And so we see actual incredible success with individuals being willing to come forward to a peer more than they are willing to go to a stranger, a counselor, or someone they reach out to. And so we've had incredible success, and we've been able to be a conduit for care. When people come forward in a peer support program, we don't claim to be able to solve their problems. We don't claim to be able to respond to that mental need. But what we do claim to do is be able to reach out and get them the help they need. And so with that, one of the key components to it is we've actually gone out and we've researched our counselors, and we found counselors who understand us and counselors who are able to deal with deep trauma, the kind of things that we experience. And so when they come to me, for example, I'm able to say, hey, let's send you to this individual, and with that we're able to give them the best care and really stand behind the counselors that we're able to put in front of them.
Sometimes it just feels good to talk to somebody who knows exactly what you're going through and has been there firsthand. Jordon, what is the biggest challenge in getting first responders to open up and use these programs?
Yeah, it's always difficult to get firefighters to come forward. And a lot of that has to do with the stigmas that we see with first responders, a stigma that we've seen in military, we've seen in law enforcement, we see in the fire service, EMS. That stigma is the idea that we're the ones you call. When you need help, we're the ones that are going to be there, and we take pride in that. Whether that's fixing your toilet that's leaking, or whether that's your house is fully involved in fire, you give us a call and we know what to do. And so oftentimes we have firefighters who struggle to come forward when they're the ones who need help. And so a lot of what we do right now is we teach firefighters, first responders, that this is normal. What you're experiencing is normal. You can't have individuals who are responding on the things that we do, 911 calls, incidents, tragedies, full fires, dangerous situations, and not have them experience the things we do. And so the first thing we do most often is make sure people understand that this is okay. And in fact, it's almost not okay if you don't experience a little bit of stress while you're going throughout your servitude. And so with that, that's one of the major hurdles we've found that really helps the individuals come forward. And then of course, the biggest thing we do right now within our fire stations and what we see in the other peer support programs is we create places of safety, places where people know that whatever they say and how they disclose is going to be safe.
And I think when you spend the majority of your career giving, it gets really hard to receive, right? It's like, you know, those people who love to give gifts, but they find it hard to receive gifts because it's just part of who you are. Jordon, we have about 2 minutes left. I really want to get to this question because I know it's important. If there's a smaller fire department, maybe in a rural area or a place with a smaller population, and they want to set up a peer support program, how can they do that?
Oh, that's easy. And I hope every fire department, every EMS department, law enforcement, and even those military guys out there who are struggling, they look into this. It's simple. For that, there's all sorts of resources, and sometimes it's hard locating those resources, and so with that, there's a number of avenues you can go. First off, we are great when it comes to the camaraderie we share with other departments, and so with that, the first thing you can do is reach out to individuals in your neighboring jurisdictions. Ask them how they address mental health. And with that, ask around. Reach out here in the Valley. When we created our program here in Murray City, I have to give a lot of credit to Salt Lake City because we rode their coattails, and I met with them and we talked about their program and how they built their program, and we modeled ours after theirs. And it's the same thing we've done where others have come to our program and done the same thing. And so with that, reach out. If you have to reach out to me, and I'll tell you exactly how to get through there. Reach out to the Utah Fire and Rescue Academy, who has professionals who are addressing mental health and helping us build those programs. Avenues are everywhere for us, and they're easy to build and they're incredibly effective.
That's what I absolutely love about our first responders. You guys help everybody, you guys help each other, and you're always willing to just be there and allow people to approach you for the resources that they may need. All right, you've been hearing from Battalion Chief Jordon Petersen of the Murray Fire Department. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We absolutely love and appreciate our first responders.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? We didn't bargain for all these horrific things that we're seeing nowadays, the mass shootings and people driving trucks through tons of people at a party or something. And we didn't bargain for those things, but we take care of them. We handle them to the best of our ability, and people look for that.
That was Jeff Dill, founder and CEO of the Firefighter Behavioral Health Alliance, back in November 2019, talking about the mental health crisis that first responders deal with. Thanks for staying with us for our second In Focus discussion tonight on the weight of the call. Joining us tonight via Zoom is Jeff Dill, the person you heard just now, the founder and CEO of the Firefighter Behavioral Health Alliance. Jeff, thank you so much for being here tonight. First off, tell us about your organization. Why did you create it? And what is your organization's mission?
Well, first off, it's an honor to be here, and also my condolences to Doug's family and friends. Had a lot of good conversations with Doug while I was out there last year. But Firefighter Behavioral Health Alliance was founded in 2010 after I was receiving, we had founded counseling services for firefighters in 2009. We were training counselors and chaplains that if you want to work with us, You need to understand our world. And I started receiving phone calls and emails from around the world saying, do you do anything about firefighter suicides? I said, we had a problem. I contacted all the major players in the fire service and no one kept any data. So hence late 2010, FBHA was founded, and we are still the only organization in the United States that tracks all fire, meaning career, volunteer, military, as well as wildland, along with EMS and dispatcher suicides. And, but we talk about so many things. I typically average over 100,000 air miles every year. We talk a lot about behavioral health and the things that we see both in our personal and our professional life. And so we also do a lot for family survivors. We have an annual weekend retreat. We have a closed group on Facebook of families, some of the bravest, strongest people you will ever meet in your life, helping other families as they come into, unfortunately, our family as well. So that's just our mission is to bring education, awareness to my brothers and sisters about these issues.
That's absolutely amazing, and I commend you for trailblazing, especially the data collection part, because that's a crucial element for us to tackle this crisis. Let's talk about COVID-19. What kind of impact is the pandemic having on first responders requesting mental health assistance, help, resources, and is the pandemic intensifying the mental health strain that first responders could be feeling right now?
Well, back in 2017, we do a lot of surveys, and we interviewed almost 1,000 members, brothers and sisters in the fire and EMS, and we found out that 74% of them deal with stress and anxiety on a daily basis. And now you throw in COVID-19 and the stress and anxiety that it deals with, both, like I said, personal and professional, it weighs them down. And we see we here at FBHA have seen a lot more calls from my brothers and sisters looking for counselors or chaplains. And a lot of it has to do with the pandemic that's going on, the stress and anxiety already of the job, and you add this issue. And it causes a lot of problems, relationship issues, jobs, people staying home. So we've seen a lot of things, and unfortunately, we've even lost a couple brothers and sisters that have died because of the pandemic.
Your organization is the only one right now that's keeping track of data regarding suicides among firefighters. Could you share some more numbers? I know you shared one statistic in your last answer. Any other numbers that you could share to help us understand the gravity of this issue?
Right. Well, like I said, we estimate about a 65% reporting to FBHA. Confidential reports come into us. We don't know where they come from. The emails are scrubbed. We then, it should be me. I'm the only one who's ever seen the data. And so we have validated 1,584 of these tragic events, and 1,330 of them are fire, 250 are EMS, and for us, EMS is private ambulance service. And we now have tracked 4 dispatchers who have taken their lives. And the span is from 1880, so that's our earliest one. Those were documented through death certificates, medical reports. And but I'd say 94.5% of our numbers begin around the year 2000 to current date.
Jeff, we have about a minute left, and I really want to get this question out there. I think it's one of the most important in our conversation. What's your message to first responders out there who may be struggling? Sometimes some may feel like they don't want to reach out to someone else who's from Utah. Sometimes it's kind of a small world. What's your message to anybody who may be watching if they're a first responder and they could be struggling?
We preach, please always do what we call internal size up. Internal size up for us is that we need to ask ourselves on a daily basis, why am I acting this way? Why am I feeling this way? And to listen to others, because they see us so much better than we do. And reach out to your peer support, reach out to FBHA. We'll find counselors for you as well. And for the younger generation in the fire and EMS world, there's 741-741. You can text that, you type in badge, and you will get a first responder counselor or a first responder who will text message with you as well. So the resources are out there. It is up to us. And I also want to say thank you to all the peer support members. Please take care of yourself as well. It's an important issue that we do a lot of self-care. We're helping others. We need to remember to take care of ourselves.
So many options. Thank you so much. That was Jeff Dill, founder and CEO of the Firefighter Behavioral Health Alliance. Jeff, great to have you on the show tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Great. Thank you.
I know that if it wouldn't have been for other firefighters being there, for people to talk to, that I don't know if I would have made it through my career.
That was Doug Robison with the Syracuse Fire Department back in September 2019, talking about the importance of peer support programs for our first responders. Robison championed these programs throughout northern Utah and most likely saved dozens of lives. He passed away earlier this week, a hard blow to first responders throughout the state. Welcome to our third and final In Focus discussion tonight on the weight of the call. Joining us live in studio tonight is Matthew McFarland, Public Information Officer for Unified Fire Authority. Matt, it's great to have you back.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Matt, Unified Fire Authority has a robust peer support program. How does the department choose who's going to be the peer support specialist?
So for the most part, they're chosen by their peers. They're elected or their names are submitted. And then those people who are submitted are vetted out to see who would be most qualified. But so they're selected by a group of their peers and nominated as people that we'd be comfortable talking to, sharing with, people that we thought would have that intuition and sort of that human side that we need when it comes to discussing serious matters.
Wow, so it's quite an honor to be chosen as a peer support specialist.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And I think the people who have gotten that far and then go through the training and understand really what the role is, they feel that honor and they take it very seriously.
Who checks in on the peer support specialists who are helping those in need?
That's a great question. There's kind of a checks and balance where they internally check on each other. They watch each other's caseload, so to speak. They make sure that they're talking among themselves and they're taking a little of their own medicine, taking that time to get stuff off their chest, because they end up being exposed to more than the crews at times. They get called in to talk to the crews and debrief and unload after the worst calls that everyone in the field's going on, and then they get to hear about it again. So they work among themselves, and then they have options for outside counseling as well. Just like everybody else.
That's very good to hear. It's been about a year since the podcast Roll Call came out. Tell us what the podcast is about and how it's helped shape the narrative around first responder mental health.
So the UFA podcast on the whole has a lot of subjects. We just educate the public about our department and different facets of that. But we had one episode where we talked heavily about PTSD and how that applies to firefighters and how first responders, firefighters, police, and even hospital employees, they have a different form. It's not acute. It's like military will often be diagnosed with. It's more long term. One of the biggest things that have come out of it, our department's appointed a full-time position now within our department. We have a captain who's a behavioral health and wellness counselor. He's got a master's degree in it from the U of U. He has a license as a clinician in counseling and this sort of therapy. And that's his full-time job within our department. And we've found it to be that important that we appointed that, found the budget for that, and it's been supported by our communities and elected officials that drive our budget.
I absolutely love it. There's another avenue for those to get information about UFA, whether it's the public or whether it's your other fellow first responders. Now, the holidays are big for firefighters. There's coat, toy drives, fill the boot, you name it. But how has COVID-19 changed all of that this year for you guys?
Yeah, and it's not just the holidays, right? Summers are a time when we go to a lot of community events. We interact with the public. For us, it's an opportunity to interact with them in a non-emergency setting. All too often when we talk to the public, it's when they're having the worst day of their life and something tragic is going on. So we value any opportunity we get to interact with them in a non-emergency setting, and that's really difficult this year. So we're trying to branch out there. We're finding new means. We're trying to be a part of every driving parade through neighborhoods that we can, any Zoom classes that we can do, any opportunity we have. Just like everybody else, though, we're struggling with that interaction and that personal feel you get when you interact directly with people. But we're trying to work our way through it and make sure the public knows we're still here. Our job hasn't changed. We've taken special considerations for the circumstance, but we still want to be a part of their community.
Now, first responders are always helping us as community members, as civilians. Is there a way that we as community members can help you, our first responders?
I think just awareness to the public, understand that it is a stressful job, and over the course of a career we're going to see and be a part of a lot of tragic things, and that does cumulatively wear on a person. But I think the best advice for supporting us is the same with supporting every human you know. just understand that everybody's got that backstory, that you don't know what they've been through, you don't know what they've been exposed to, and that you don't know what trials and tribulations have worn on them throughout their life, throughout their career, throughout their day. And take it with a grain of salt and be understanding. And hopefully you have nothing but positive interactions with the fire service and all of its representatives. Even though it might be a bad day for you, we're representing ourselves well. If there is a salty individual, or if you have a problem, understand that they love their job, and we all have bad days. And hopefully you're only seeing the good side of all of us, though.
I hope that everybody that's watching understands that it really takes a special kind of person to be a first responder. So every time I have a first responder on the show like you, I just can't say thank you enough for everything that you guys do. And thank you for being here and sharing this message.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity to discuss this, and thanks for giving us a voice in this matter.
Yeah, that's Matthew McFarland, Public Information Officer for Unified Fire Authority and a good friend of ours here at ABC4 News. Matt, come back anytime.
Thank you.